In tonight's Spotlight, a major breakthrough being claimed in the world of quantum computing. Google says it has built a computer that is capable of solving problems that classical computers pretty much cannot. According to a report published in the scientific journal Nature, Google's processor, Sycamore, performed a truly random number generation in 200 seconds. That same task would take about 10,000 years for a state-of-the-art supercomputer to execute. The claim, however, is not without controversy, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Joining us tonight to explain what it all means and if Google really reigns supreme is technology analyst Benjamin Dynkin. We thank you so much for being here, Ben. It's good to see you as always.
Very good to see you too.
All right, so before we get into it, let's just look at the tweet from Google here. Google says, quote, "We are excited to announce the results of our quantum supremacy experiment." Remember the word supremacy. That's what IBM's taking issue with. Using a fully programmable 54-qubit processor called Sycamore, we have performed a calculation in 200 seconds that's infeasible on the fastest supercomputers. So how much of a milestone or an accomplishment, Ben, is this?
So it's definitely an impressive achievement.
Okay.
But I think I'll take actually a phrase that Sundar Pichai in defending the experiment took. This is closer to Kitty Hawk than it is the launch of the B-52 bomber.
Okay.
It in itself was a designed experiment meant to do something that quantum computers could do and would be difficult for classical computers. Practical applications aren't really there yet, but it's definitely akin to a 12-second flight that went 200 feet more than a transatlantic flight.
Interesting. So it's something that will no doubt lead to something much greater in the future. Practically speaking, what is it that quantum computing will one day allow us to do? How will it change our civilization?
So it brings to bear an entirely new level of compute power. The ability to process information, understand things in ways that traditional computers can't really today do. The applications go from everything from cryptography, how we encrypt data, to medical applications, understanding how proteins fold together, understanding three-dimensional space. It can definitely have huge ramifications, but it does take a lot of time to take 53 qubits and turn it into real-world, large-scale processing power.
All right, so Google referred to this as supremacy, right? Quantum supremacy. IBM saying here, slow your roll, Google, because we've got a supercomputer called Summit, which it says could do the calculation in 2.5 days. Not too shabby. How is Summit different than Sycamore?
So again, this is the issue between classical and quantum computing. Okay. There are ways to build classical computers better to target quantum problems, and that's what IBM's doing there. And they actually believe that they can do it with better fidelity. So we really don't have a lot of control over qubits and quantum processes right now. So we tend to have a lot of issues. Google's processor is actually 54 qubits, but they only successfully did 53. One was lost in the process. So we're not at a point of high fidelity. Classical computers are built off of principles of high fidelity and maintaining that data. So it might take a little bit longer, but there may be other benefits to using those processes today.
So for the average Joe who hears this news, they hear about quantum supremacy, quantum computers, wow, this is an amazing feat on the part of Google. What do you say to them to help them understand all of it?
So this is a principle that's here to stay. Quantum computing is getting more and more attention, more and more capital. China, the US, private industry are all spending hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars on an annual basis figuring out how to take this from theoretical to practical. The ramifications will start to be felt over the next several years, but it's something that we should be aware of, understand, and be ready to engage with, even if we don't all quite understand what's going on at that quantum, super cooled level.
How excited were you when you heard about it, though?
It's something that we've actually been looking a lot at my company because we are in the cybersecurity business, and cryptography is critical to everything in security. So this has been on our radar for a while, and it's very interesting, and it's led to some really interesting discussions at the office.
All right, Ben Dynkin, it's great to see you as always. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us.